not rationalize kintsugi, but to live with it in a way that feels very natural, because you see it all around and you meet the people and understand their lives very proximally.
People treasure the things and they celebrate the everyday uses of it. And so I think Kyoto is the place where if you really just wanted to start learning kintsugi, it's where you should look into.
Stories about the language and the culture have been really interesting in class.
Just the opportunity to gather and make in a community. I can totally see how this practice could be a very solo experience, but having a community to bounce ideas off of, to share your wins, to share your losses. There's a lot happening while we were here. That to me is the best part, is how you all cultivated such a great group of apprentices that the cohort really meshed well together. And so through these 2 months we went through so many experiences even outside of the course, and by the end we were checking in and helping each other and working through things together. Just that community aspect of going through this experience is unparalleled. You cannot achieve that being at home trying to learn something like this through videos, or even taking private classes where you come once in a while.
I enjoy every part of the process. I feel empowered, like somehow when I hold a piece in my hand and able to kind of reconstruct it. Yeah. But I think my favorite part could be the sanding of the sabi urushi. Yeah. So that kind of gives like a base for the lacquer to go on after we sanded off everything. And it's just kind of eye-opening to see that, oh, you know, this piece right now has these cracks and these lines, and it just makes the whole piece look different.
The piece that I just showed with it looks like a vessel, that one, when I first put it together, it aligned perfectly. I didn't expand or anything, but after I applied Mugi on it, either I didn't align it perfectly or maybe it shifted in the middle. So when I take it out, it's misaligned. And it was a big bummer to me because one of my favorite pieces, even though it's broke, is from my favorite artist, Akihiro Nikaido. And then so for that piece, Momoko told me that I could just use sabi to build a slope of it so that it becomes smooth on the surface, and maybe it will be just like a design of its own. So it's very exciting to work on the work of my favorite artist. It's kind of like a collaboration with them in a way.
Very first one, and I don't know if it was because it was the first one and the excitement, or I had no idea about urushi or the tree growth, or that there was a sap. anything like that. So it was super like educational, and we got to take a van into the mountain, which was really beautiful too.
One of the reasons I came to this program and wanted to come to Kyoto was to see craftspeople and to see what they did and to meet them. The field trips where we met people were my favorite. Ryuji was so generous to let us into his house, and we learned how to use tools. I got really inspired. I live next to a boat building school, wooden boat building school, so chisels and tools are really important. So I'm coming home with a new tool, which is really, and possibilities of making tools for kintsugi.
The one that I think I really loved was the woodworking field trip, and that's because I love woodworking. For whatever reason, it's one of the things that I'm drawn to, even though I've never really pursued it. When we went in there and he had us set up the plates on the lathe and kind of, etch everything out in the traditional way that they do it, I loved it. It was nice, and the smell of the wood and like the space itself is beautiful. And you're like in this village and this old school, and everything was nice. It flowed well.
Being able to meet the people who are behind projects like this, where they are trying to educate younger people about urushi, which is a material that could die off if no one continue to commit themselves to growing them. Yeah. It made me realize that, so this is how culture died. Yeah.
Going to the urushi distillery from Takusan was such a revelation, because to understand the scale of production, the connection with the material itself and the forest, the humble setup and the family setup of it, the really tiny numbers of people doing this, and it shocked me in the scarcity of what we're doing, in the unique privilege of what we're doing. The way that urushi was discussed as a material with such love and with such elation, from people who've had it around all the time. It was really inspiring, and maybe one of the key eye-opening moments that unlocked a fuller understanding that I feel, again, could only happen by being here.
Coming back to my alma mater, to my university, because they finally realized that there's a need for it. They're opening a restoration department, so I might be like a guest teacher or guest lecturer or something like that. We have to work on it. So yeah.
Kintsugi is definitely going to be a part of my life. While I was here and we started learning about the different sectors that interact with kintsugi in general, I really fell in love with the idea of tableware and the idea of working with chefs who can give a statement through the pieces that they use. So while I've been here in residence, I've been corresponding with different distilleries that make sake back at home, in different restaurants who I think would really appreciate the message of the circular economy and regeneration in all of its different forms. And so I definitely intend to work with chefs and restaurants on the story of kintsugi and the value of using it not just to repair the tableware that they want to keep in circulation, but to use that as an opportunity to share with the people that dine with them and visit them, to say, this piece has been repaired and this is the story of the piece or the repair process, and this is why we're supporting this.